When I was younger, I had a notebook that I used to draw in a lot. I used to open it up and I would draw a fish on a page and flip the page and draw another fish and flip and draw and flip and draw and flip and draw until I ran out of pages in the notebook. Sometimes people ask me how I became an artist. My name is Rob. Welcome to Painting with Rob. Today we're going to be making a painting of a blender because I don't think we've done enough household items on this show. You know, people don't own a lot of celery. People don't own a lot of apples. People don't own a lot of American Girl dolls. I've drawn too much that nobody cares about. So it's time I get some recognition. So we're going to start off with a blender because everybody has blenders. So just a forewarning, anybody that is afraid of fast rotating metal blades, please click off of this episode immediately. Find something that's more your speed. Next episode we'll draw some applesauce, something that's a little bit more soft and more accommodating to you. But thank you for checking in. So on our swatch, we're going to get a brighter shade of black, like a dark silver, and we're going to make what we like to call in the blender world a control panel. So we're going to make a nice line at looks like a 80-degree angle, and we're going to cut it across at a 620-degree angle, and then we're going to rise it right back up at another 85-degree angle so that it's completely parallel. Now, notice how you can't see me pointing to the screen, but notice how right here where I'm pointing, see? No, right here where look at where I'm pointing, please. No, see where I'm, yes, right there, right, yeah. See how it comes up and it's just like over here? Yeah. So we're gonna join these two lines together really quick. But first we're going to get a new color from our color swatch. Instead of the lighter gray, we're going to instead go for a darker gray. We'll call it black. We'll just go for black. We're going to meet up the top line with the side line. This isn't a football play, though. Don't know a lot about sports. And next we're going to be taking this. Now, right now it looks like it's just a 2D shape. It looks like it's a rhombus. And it's not a rhombus. It's the control panel of a blender. So we're going to take it into the 3D world by adding a little bit of lines of perspective. So we're going to drag it all the way over there. And then we're going to take this one, and we're going to drag it all the way over there too, until we can finally just connect these two lines, and look, we've made a whole other shape. Way to go. Everybody that's following along right now, it should look just like this. What's on my screen right now, it should be on your screen. And if you're doing it wrong, then it's... Well, I've said it again. I say it every time. If you're doing it different than I'm doing it, painting isn't right for you, and you need to stop trying. These videos aren't going to help you if you can't take simple direction. So we're going to draw this line to be parallel with this one over here, and then we're going to connect the two. Bring it across, and now you'll notice that it's a beautiful looking shape. So next up would normally be the glass dish, but that's not what we're doing right now. Instead, we're going to make the glass dish that rests on top of the blender. So we're going to start by making these nice stalks that come up from the top right here. Now, this is where being an engineer comes in handy. This is where being an architect would come in handy. Make these beams big enough that they could support like a medium-sized house cat, like a medium-sized one. And that's how strong these supports need to be. So you want to make them really thin at the bottom and really bulky at the top. I don't know if any of you have seen the episode of SpongeBob where he gets the snail. Gary, I think is the name of it. And it has those nice eyes that come off of its head, and they look like antlers. I really like that character. So next we're going to be coming up to our squatch character, our squatch designer. We're gonna get a lighter shade of black, and we're going to make this thing on top here a closed shape. We're gonna use these snail antlers here, close that up. Okay, and I don't know if any of you are doubting this at any point, but if you are, art is all about self-expression. So, I don't even know. Alright? Now we're gonna work on the control panel for a little bit now. So we're gonna switch to a brush size of 5 pixels. I'm gonna switch my brush, like the actual brush, over to the oil brush, because when I draw buttons, I like to be able to like write on them, and the oil brush really allows me to be creative in that way. But on the other hand, the oil brush is really generalized, and it doesn't give me a lot of like individual attention. So sometimes I kind of drift off when it's talking, but it's fine. So here we go, making the buttons on the control panel. Now you'll notice on the first stroke that it comes out kind of smeared. It's not a solid color. And that's not how buttons are. Buttons are a solid color. So we're going to just go over it a couple times. Way back when I was not an artist officially, I used to draw a fish in a notebook, like I've said. And I used to use one of those big Crayola markers, and on the first stroke it came out a little bit transparent, like I could still see the white of the page underneath the marker, and it really got to me, so I had to go over it like a couple times until it stained through the page onto the next one. And that's when I knew. So now if anyone's wondering how many buttons we're going to be making, the total is going to come to 9. Just in case anyone at home was wondering that's following along, drawing also a blender. We're drawing 9 because so, and then we're going to go back to our standard brush size. We're going to change our swatch over to we'll go with not white, because white is the color of the background, and when the color of the background is the same as something that's interacting with the art, art is not about using the same color as the background. Every color has to be adding something. Art is all about adding things. So we're going to head on back to the control panel here and zoom in real tight so that you get a really thin brush. And you're going to want to make, for the first button, a straight line. And for the second button, it's like a curved line on top that evens out at like an angle. And then it's going to come down onto a straight line at the bottom. Now this is a really weird shape, so just follow along if you're struggling. Just do what I do. For the third one, it's going to look like 2 C's on top of each other. And on the fourth one, we're going to draw a triangle, but on the third line, we're going to just cut right through the bottom line. So it's not like a complete triangle. It's like a ribbon almost. Just follow along if you're having trouble. And then on the fifth one, it's going to be a straight line on top with a small line on the bottom and then a C after that. And the sixth one is just going to be a 6. The seventh one is going to be an L, but upside down and backwards. And then an 8 is going to be like, I don't know how many of you guys have ever ice skated, but there's this ice skating move called the figure 8. So for the 8th key, we're going to draw one of those. And then the 9th one is going to be a circle on top of a line. Alright, nice. Now that you've gotten yours done, we're going to go ahead and switch back to our oil brush. Head back over to this puppy. And we're just going to add another button. Just add another button, like it matters. We're going to go back to the original brush, head on back to the white color, and for this last one, we're just going to draw a big hole. Just draw a hole. Alright, cool. So now that you've done this, we're going to head on up to this puppy we're going to head on up to this puppy that we put on top here. We're going to equip our green color. Bump that paintbrush size up to 8 pixels, and then we're going to go to the spray can brush, and we're going to make a display out of this here. So what this will be used for on the blender is displaying the name of whatever item you're ringing up as well as the price. And actually it's pretty cool how they do this. There's this new thing now where like you can ring up multiple items at a time, and it'll put them all into one big list and then calculate the total price, and it makes it way easier for the customer to pay. Instead of having to, you have to use a calculator to add up all those prices. I remember way back when I got my first job, that's what I had to do. And Boy, it got old fast, I'll tell you. Pushing buttons on that calculator all day. I'm amazed So next up, we're going to go back to our original brush, and we're going to change the back to the white, and we're going to change our brush size to 5 pixels wide, and we're going to make an S on this, like an S, like the letter in the alphabet, and then we're going to just draw a line right through it, like right through the top, down to the bottom, and then we're going to do 2 dots on top of each other after that. I think it's called like an intestine or something. And then we're going to write back. Remember those symbols that we put on the buttons down there on the buttons? We're going to put one of those. So we're going to just choose one at random. So I'm going to close my eyes and choose one. All right, I chose one. So we're going to draw that. And then another dot, and then we're going to draw 2 more of those symbols. So we're going to go with the one on the second one, the one on the second button, and then the one on the third button. Alright, now this next step we're going to have to do really fast. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. We're going to change our brush size over to 3 pixels, and we're going to use the turkey baster tool to select this color right here. It's black. We're going to go back to our regular brush, and we're going to add just another box right on the bottom of this puppy. And we're going to draw it right across, and we're going to draw it right up. And then from here, right down, and then right across again, linking them up. And it's magical, and it's brilliant, perfect. And then next we're going to be really careful and really slow, and you want to drag all the way down. And what we're going to do here is kind of like a made you look, sort of like a box inside of a box is what we're going to be putting in here. So we're going to come up here. I'm going to drag just straight across, just drag all the way across. There you go, and match it up. And you want it to be coming to a point right here. This is a really important part of your blender. And right in the center, we're going to do a circle with a line through it. Alright, and then now right here, another box. And then up and across. Alright everyone, now your blender's done. And now that it's done, you can just go home. You don't have to be sad anymore. The blender's done. It's over. You got out. You're safe. Just be happy now. Just be happy.